NBC and the DNC have announced the lineups for the first round of Democratic debates. The debates are set for June 26th and 27th. Each night will feature 10 candidates vying for a chance to deliver their message to the American people and Democratic voters.
Excuse me, it's me, Jim Webb, your future president. I was promised I'd get time, and I've had no time. Where's my time?
Wednesday night will include Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Beto O'Rourke, Amy Klobuchar, Tulsi Gabbard, Julian Casto, Bill de Blasio, John Delaney, Jay Inslee, and Tim Ryan. Thursday night will feature Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, Andrew Yang, Kirsten Gillibrand, Marriane Williamson, John Hickenlooper, Eric Swalwell, and Michael Bennet. So while the draw was apparently random, and I have no reason to doubt that, the distribution of the major candidates is not exactly even. Of the currently top polling candidates, 4 of them, Biden, Bernie, Buttigieg, and Kamala, are all on the second night, while the first night will pretty much be Elizabeth Warren sitting at the kids' table. The advantages and disadvantages of the lineups for each individual candidate is of course very much up for debate. But I'll share my thoughts and predictions in this video. But I want to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comments section, what do you think of the matchups? Who are the biggest winners and who are the biggest losers? Okay, so to start out, let me reiterate that all of my opinions on this topic are very much up for debate, and I'm totally open to changing my mind on a lot of this, so I look forward to a good discussion in the comments section. There's also a few matters of fact that aren't clear, but could drastically change my analysis. For example, if each candidate were to be given equal time, that would change my assessment, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that in the interest of maximizing viewership, NBC is going to allow a little more time for more popular, more interesting candidates, and leave the unpopular, more forgettable faces asking,
"Where's my time?"
I'm also going to make some assumptions about debate skills. A lot of these candidates are relatively untested in this area, and obviously that has to be a matter of opinion anyway. So forgive the bias, I'm just going to tell you what I think. You're more than welcome to disagree and attempt to change my mind. Again, I'm open to doing that. That said, let's start by talking about night 1, June 26th. While there are certainly smaller candidates in night 2 as well, night 1 is very obviously less packed with the heaviest hitters. The clearest exception being Elizabeth Warren, who is currently surging in the polls, a strong third place behind Biden and Sanders, according to RCP data. And by the way, let me just take a second not to brag about defending Warren when her campaign launch looked rather weak, but to shove it in the faces of Harry Enton and Essie Cupp, who argued that her campaign was DOA.
Even this early, it seems like Warren's candidacy is DOA.
What now, Cupp? What now? Anyway, Warren's placement as the only top 5 candidate at the kids' table has been seen by some as a win, others as a loss. As one Politico writer wrote, Warren was left out of the debate featuring most of the other top polling candidates, an unlucky draw according to many Democratic strategists. But NBC News' decision to run her debate on the first night, when viewership is expected to be high no matter who is participating, is a consolation prize for the surging Massachusetts senator. Believe it or not, I agree with Politico here. I do think we'll likely see a larger audience at this second debate, but the far more important factor is that unless there's a major shift in the polls, Warren will very likely be the star of night 1, as the most popular candidate there by far. Uncrowded by other popular candidates, she'll likely get more time to talk, and for Warren, that's a very good thing. In my view, Warren isn't a very flashy candidate. She's not great at sound bites or charming an audience with a witty turn of phrase. Trying to get a bump in the polls with limited time may not be her strong suit. But as certainly one of the most policy-focused candidates with numerous policies to talk about in great detail, the extra time she will very likely be afforded will likely be a strong benefit. By the same token, candidates who are not so strong on detailed policy concerns might have some serious trouble going head-to-head with Warren. Thus, Buttigieg and Biden probably benefit from being able to avoid her this time out, while Beto, who is no doubt working hard to regain some of that magic he captured in the Senate race against Ted Cruz, could receive the final nail in his campaign's coffin if he steps toe-to-toe with her. For other middle-of-the-road candidates, the matchup against Warren might give them the opportunity to regain lost ground. Booker, Castro, and Klobuchar may not be my favorite candidates in the race, but they're relatively knowledgeable about policy. Like Warren, having the opportunity to speak a bit more will likely give them a chance to gain attention for their campaigns that have more recently been overshadowed. Tulsi Gabbard may have a great opportunity in this debate as well. While she's not the most experienced politician in the race, I take her to be one of the most charismatic. She's likely to stand out in a field that does not include Buttigieg, Harris, or Yang. Her policy positions also sound a lot better when she gets proper time to explain. While in a crowded field, she might not have the opportunity to properly explain why she didn't back the Green New Deal. Now she's likely to explain the very real green policies that she's pushed for in the past. She's also more likely to have ample time to bring up her views on regime change wars or Julian Assange, issues where she is likely to resonate with progressive voters who currently are putting most of their support behind either Bernie or Warren. Let's move on to night 2, June 27th. Almost by definition, all of the positives for Warren seem to be problems for Bernie, as they will very likely be going after many of the same types of voters, policy-focused progressives. Another downside for Bernie is the fact that, like Warren, he's great when he has a chance to explain his policies and how he's going to pay for them, as well as debunk some of the trashier attacks that have been leveled against him. Crowded with other stars, he may have less of an opportunity to do this. But I expect the biggest loser from night 2 to be Joe Biden. He is most vulnerable to lose votes to other centerish establishment politicians. The two strongest contenders in this regard are Buttigieg and Harris, and both will be right there, potentially ready to take him on. So this debate will be a great opportunity for Harris or Buttigieg, one they're not likely to pass up. Other likely losers from the matchup draw are the minor candidates sharing the stage with 4 of the big 5. So Bennet, Gillibrand, Hickenlooper, and Swalwell are all likely to leave the stage polling even lower, if that's even mathematically possible. But Marriane Williamson and Andrew Yang might actually manage to benefit from this arrangement. Both of these candidates tend to stand out for one issue and one issue only. For Williamson, it's reparations, and for Yang, of course, it's the freedom dividend. Focusing on a single issue is a great strategy for small candidates to stand out, and for these two, they were given just the debate lineup required to maximize its effectiveness. To be honest, I don't see a real path for Williamson to actually find her way even to the middle of the field, but Yang's another beast. The NBC debate stage may offer him the opportunity to bring his message, already popular online, to a wider and, well, older crowd. So, in my view, the biggest winners from the matchups are likely to be Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, Marriane Williamson, and Cory Booker. The biggest losers are likely to be Joe Biden, Beto O'Rourke, Bernie Sanders, Kirsten Gillibrand, Michael Bennet, John Hickenlooper, and Eric Swalwell. Actually, there are some folks who benefit even less from these matchups, namely the candidates who will not make the debates. Of the 23 candidates the New York Times lists as running, 3 of them, Wayne Messam, Seth Moulton, and Steve Bullock, will be the only ones not to appear. And there's at least one more, Mike Gravel, who the New York Times didn't even bother to list amongst the candidates running as recently as June 14th. By the way, Gravel claims he's still running. But when you look at this short list of just 4 candidates being singled out for dismissal, it kind of makes you rethink the question, who are the biggest losers? Thanks for watching this video, guys. Big shout out to the patrons: Jack Stokes, Question Time Fanact 2020, Decuro, Torge Camaro, Louise, Victor Holmberg, Benjamin Kuntz, and Stroden. Also, apologies for not having uploaded in a while. I got sick and then I had to go on a trip, but I really appreciate you guys sticking around. I'm excited to get back into it. So let me know what you want me to talk about next in the comments, and I'll see you there.